Sometimes life throws bold moments at you, like finding the perfect vacation or finding the ideal location. At BOS, we're there to help you meet those moments with bold confidence. So whether it's managing money for future plans or getting what you need to start planning your dream, we're here to bring you a better banking experience. Make the bold move and switch to BOS today.
Hi, this is Ron Kinscherf. This is the Business Spotlight brought to you by the Bank of Springfield, and we have Jack Wilson with us from Wilson Tree Farm.
That's
Thanks
correct.
for coming on. All right, so what is a tree farm compared to like the normal farms that we see that you drive down the highway, you see corn, soybeans, and all that type of stuff?
Yes, so I specialize in selling trees. I got a wide range of trees. I got nut trees, I got fruit trees, I have shade trees, and I have ornamental trees. So like a sample of a tree, and I sell, just depending on the time of year, I may have potted trees, may have bare root, may also have grafted trees, but here's an example of like a redbud tree. Prices range from $8 to $25. I also we'll plant a tree for you for a fee. We'll julie the property and we'll dig a hole and put it in the ground, which is really popular with older people who can't dig a hole.
So at their property you'll do that?
Yeah, I'll do
Okay.
that. Yeah, I'll talk to them and we'll make sure there's no utilities. We'll julie it and stuff
Okay.
like that. So yeah, different services. Also around Christmas time, I sell clippings from trees. So this is an example of like some clippings, and people make some ornaments,
something like
wreaths,
that out
and
of it,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
This is pretty cool. So I just sell it by the foot.
So the trees that you have, they're not, when I think, first time when I thought of a tree farm, I'm thinking you got big trees lined up all over the place, but that's not necessarily true, is it?
Yeah, so Wilson Tree Farm, the origin of it is I started with a shovel and some pots in 2022, and I just started digging up some trees on my property. I have 2.5 acres, and mostly the first year I sold pecan trees to people, and I sold 100 trees.
Oh, wow, okay.
The second year I started buying more trees, selling more trees. I actually sold 641 trees the second year. In this third year, on pace to sell the same as the second year, so over 600 trees.
So, do you get to the point where you're self-sufficient, where a tree will produce more trees because of the acorns or the blossoms, or whatever the tree seed, or provide that type of stuff? Is that kind of how it works?
So yes, I do plant some seeds and grow. I also buy in bulk. Some of the trees that I've propagated on my property and grown from seed is pawpaw trees and persimmon trees, and this might be foreign to some people, but I've learned a lot about trees over the last few years, specifically what type of trees people are interested in and what they can provide to you. So some people like to buy the fruit trees like the pawpaws. If you ever had a pawpaw, it's like delicious. And the same thing with persimmon, and you can't buy these in the store. So the only way to really get it is to find somebody that has some pawpaw trees or to grow it yourself. I sell all native trees to the Midwest, which is it's great to have a native tree because they're just, some people are bulldozing trees down and they're dying off and stuff like that. So we're trying to plant more trees and more native trees.
So what age are the trees when you want to sell them, or does it matter per species?
Yeah, so I have trees that range from 6 inches to 6 feet tall. Because I don't really have any machinery, it's just me and a shovel.
Okay. You are the machine.
Yeah, I am the machine, pretty strong guy. But anyway, they range from just a year old to several years old, as much as like 4 or 5 years old. I've dug up some pretty big cedars and stuff like that on my property.
Okay. Is there a point where they get too old for you to move?
Yes.
Or I guess they just get too big. Is that the situation then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There is a good time to dig up a tree and a bad time to dig up a tree. The same thing with planting. So in the summertime is the worst time to plant a tree and stuff, just because the heat's so hard on it and they need the water and stuff like that. So the best time is when it's in the dormant state. But even when it's in the dormant state, you got to be careful you don't cut too much of the roots and have too much top and not enough roots. So the smaller tree is actually better. It'll actually do better. A lot of people are buying trees in pots from various places. They buy them online. Fasttrees.com, I think, is one of them. Menards or Home Depot or whatever. You can go get a tree. But a lot of those trees are grown in pots. They're grown in Florida in a greenhouse somewhere. So when they come up here, they have major transplant shock when they get planted. My trees are all native, grown in the Midwest, and they're younger, so they do better. they just are going to take longer to get to the size that people want.
So you have the Redbud there that is in a pot. Now at some point you have to get it, I assume you have to get it out of the pot and move it to ground, correct?
Yeah, I could show.
Okay, does it vary by species, or is it in terms of the...
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's some trees that grow much quicker than others and are much larger than others.
Okay.
For example, this is a Redbud tree, and this is this year. This is one that just grown from seed this year, so it's already grown 1.5 feet, let's say, this year. Okay, so it may grow 2 feet this year. There's other trees that grow maybe 4 feet in the year, and depending on how big the root is, it can be pretty tough to get it out of the ground and stuff.
So how important, like, okay, if I want to buy a tree and somebody on the other side of town wants to buy a tree, how different is the soil at my house going to be at the other side of town, and how important is that to the type of tree I get?
You know,
is that a really good question?
That's a really good question.
Yes, I try to get one a day.
All right, so depending on the soil type, you may, say for example, you got clay soil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's certain types of trees that'll do just fine in clay soil. Bald cypress are one. There's really tough trees that are just hard to kill. Yeah, so you have to maybe talk to me or research it a little bit to figure out what soil type you got.
So they could bring soil to your farm, basically, and say, hey, here's what I got.
Or just tell me. Or just tell me.
What if you don't know? I mean, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Here's my dirt.
I mean, I have planted trees for people. I actually planted a bunch of trees for my aunt, and I dug down in the ground, and she had this beautiful black soil, and I was like, oh, your soil's amazing. I have clay soil at my house.
Right.
And I was like, your trees are going to do so well. But yeah, depending on the ones you have, I mean, if it, like I said, a bald cypress would do well in clay soil. So it just really depends. A lot of people want bald cypress around their ponds. Some people that don't have much land, they want like more of an ornamental tree, like say a white dogwood. That's really popular in Quincy. I've sold some of those, and those are as popular as the redbuds.
Now, I know that there's some people with a lot of land that hunt and stuff like that. There's specific type of trees you can get for that type of land to bring in deer or stuff like that.
I've had a lot of hunters buy trees from me. Yeah, they like trees that attract deer. Persimmon, acorn trees, like oak trees.
Chestnut?
Yeah, chestnut, pecan. And you have to be careful too, because there's certain types of trees that have diseases and stuff like that. So honestly, if you're going to plant a lot of trees, I would recommend planting a variety. That way one pest doesn't knock them all out, which we had the problem with the ash. And
yeah. That leads me to my next question, actually, because the redbud you have there does have some holes in some of the leaves. I'm assuming that's from disease or bugs, right?
Yeah.
Is that the biggest challenge you face, is that type of environmental hazard?
I mean, just a little bit of holes and stuff really it'll pop back. It'll go dormant, and then the next year it'll grow and continue to grow and pop back. So it's not a real big deal. And as the older the trees get, the less you're going to notice is it. But yeah, that type of tree will be fine. I have had pests. I've had the Japanese beetles.
Right.
I had an oak tree. It was a pin oak that I put in the ground. I put it in some burlap, and I had some Japanese beetles just eat the crap out of it, and all the leaves are gone and stuff like that. And I cleaned it up, got all those beetles off, and it's grown back, and it's a healthy tree again, just in about a few weeks.
So someone like me who just wants to buy a tree and don't do anything with it after I plant it, are the majority of trees like that? Or is there going to be some initial care that has to go with making sure the tree is healthy?
So the first year you're going to want to water it.
Okay.
The first year.
That's it.
And get it
just
through the.
Give it water.
Give it water. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
you don't have to talk to it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Okay. All right.
Some people like to fertilize it. Some people. What I would recommend is you plant it correctly, you mulch around it, and you water it the first year. And I think if you get past that first summer and that first winter, it should be good to go. Obviously, it has to be planted in the correct location. You don't want to plant it below power lines. You don't want to plant it in a place that, like say it's like pollution heavy, like near a gravel road or something. Some trees don't like that. And there's a whole list of things: too much shade, too much sunlight, etc. So you got to plant in the correct location. But if you plant in the correct location and it gets past that first year, you should be really good to go.
Wilson Tree Farms. You're Jack Wilson,
Yep.
and if people want to get a hold of you, literally just Google Wilson Tree Farms, right?
Wilson Tree Farms on Facebook, and one other thing that we're offering is recently I got my drone license, and I do sell drone photos. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I got a really good picture I took of QU Stadium. I took a picture of the construction site there on 48th and State, and a picture of my neighbor's house. So I do sell that as well. specializing in selling drone photos for farms, aerial photos, 400 feet up in the air is the maximum I can go, but I can take a pretty good picture.
Does your neighbor know that you took the picture of their house?
Yes.
Okay, you did. Okay. Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
All right, Jack Wilson, Wilson Tree Farms. You want to find out more, just Google Wilson Tree Farms and you'll be able to find him. This has been the Business Spotlight, brought to you by the Bank of Springfield.
Sometimes life throws bold moments at you, like finding the perfect vacation or finding the ideal location. At BOS, we're there to help you meet those moments with bold confidence. So whether it's managing money for future plans or getting what you need to start planning your dream, we're here to bring you a better banking experience. Make the bold move and switch to BOS today.